I have a '05 Toyota Forerunner, and when I occasionally, it don't do it every time, when I try to start the engine, the the starter just turns and turns and turns the engine, and when the switch goes back to where it would normally be running, the starter is still turning the engine, and it continues until I turn the switch completely off. And then when I start to, most of the time, the second time, it cranks back fine. Occasionally, it'll do that 2 or 3 times in a row, but most of the time, the second try, the engine cranks up.
All right. We are sitting here making a decision on which one's going first. Jim, let's do it.
Okay. I wrote down here, it's like a game show almost.
Yes, it is.
I wrote down starter drive as if it was something wrong with the drive and it wasn't returning like it's supposed to be. And now my counterpart on the side of the table has another one. I think it's really good too, but I'm not sure.
All right. Now that's interesting, and that's sounding good. Jared.
Well, it's on the same line. I was thinking the solenoid is being stuck. When your solenoid on the starter drive itself is being stuck, it's allowing it to keep going. Once he cuts it off and completely, gets rid of power going to that starter, that's when it stops. And occasionally, it's just the solenoid's getting stuck open.
Very good. And mine is very close to the same. One of a couple of things. This is probably not it, but every now and then you have a burr in the flywheel to where the starter may engage, but it sticks. The other most likely cause would be the starter solenoid, which on that car it's built into the starter. Third thing would be if the ignition key were sticking in the on position, but you would probably notice that because you turn it and you'd feel it where it wouldn't release. So actually, the other two items, if it's not the ignition switch and it does feel like it's springing back, are all tied in together. It means pulling the starter off. Go ahead and inspect the flywheel teeth while the starter's off. Make sure there's no burrs and bad spots, and then put a new starter on there, and I believe you'll find your problem. Oh, make sure of one other thing. I don't think that model has a starter relay in the fuse box. I don't, or an interrupter switch, I believe what it's called. But even though that's probably not it, they're very inexpensive. So if you have either something that says starter relay or starter interrupter switch inside your fuse box, go ahead and stick one of them in at the same time. They're under $10, and it'll just might save a problem later on. So starter, inspect flywheel, and it sounds like that'll bring us all three together. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm just happy if his car starts right.
Yeah. All right. Dennis, does that sound good to you?
That sounds fine. I appreciate that.
Oh, that is awesome, and we appreciate you calling so much. Thank you.